Oh my God. Hello, everybody. Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to Twisted Thursday. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in this beautiful world. I'm VS Speaks Royally. I hope you have had a wonderful day, evening, and all that good glory stuff. So, now let me just say, it'll probably take me a moment to find the sounder. But if you have not watched Harry and Meghan on Netflix Volume 2, this is your disclaimer to click off, come back after you watch because we're going to discuss it. And yes. So, how is everyone? How did everyone? Anna, I'm eating popcorn. Good source of fiber early in the early morning. Eating that popcorn while the show begins, huh? Whew, is all I can say. They snatched the wigs of the UKers. That's all I'm going to say. And you all know what I'm talking about, the royal family, the firm, and their media. I suggest they all just remain quiet. They came. They did not come to play. Some raw emotions from tears to laughter in these last 3 episodes. Yeah. So, as with the first 3 episodes, I have pages of notes. So, episode 4, and starts out with the wedding day and the excitement and all those wonderful emotions we were all feeling. And, you know, she was speaking about how calm she was, and it was the energy of the day. I know I was excited, and it was good to hear how she was even surprised at the number of people that lined both sides of the street as her and her mom were being driven about 15 minutes, she said, from where they stayed overnight to the chapel, St. George's Chapel. And yeah, it was yeah, because even I was like, oh my gosh, look at all the people. Now, the long walk was just another mind-blowing situation, but of course the media was there and everybody was there partying and all that. I love that Harry touched on that it was an expectation that the wedding be what it was, because he, of course, is the second son of Diana, and basically it's like, the family can now be done. And because there's always the haters in the tabloids pushing that it was Meghan that wanted it all. And, that's the last thing she wanted or would have wanted, was the pomp and circumstance and all that other stuff. So, Marvel, thank you very much. Wow, you're starting it off. Okay, I'm going to pause for a moment. You're making it rain, 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 rain down on me. Mwah. Thank you so much, Marvel. I really, really appreciate it. So I just have to say this, which is going to be the theme carried throughout the royal family, the firm, and the UK media, who is their PR, ain't shit. They are piles of shit, I should say. They're just big piles of shit. Okay. So also going through, I'm glad they showed a little bit of Not Cot, which is what Nottingham Cottage was called, Not Cot, that you expected him to live there with his wife and or family that they would have, and he was hitting his head on the ceiling. So while the thought of, Kensington Palace, they live at Kensington, no, they lived on the grounds of Kensington Palace. Harry was always, he didn't need much because generally he was always on the go anyway, but yeah. Oh, and they and friends confirmed that as of the Oceania tour, that's when things changed. So I just have to pause and say thank you to Tina and Michelle. Again, Sussex Squad podcast, for those who are not familiar with who they are, but they're the OGs. They kicked off the positive Sussex platforms. They were the first voices out there, and they were saying no more of this BS that's coming out of the UK, no more from that media. The family's not doing anything to protect her. Harry, being Harry, has admitted, and it was in one of the episodes, that, he responded as the institutional Harry. Brought up in that world, how he responded. Okay, we need to get dressed. We need to go to this function versus husband one. So I want to give many thanks to Michelle. They were right. Sussex Squad, thank goodness we were not quiet, especially as it was growing. We weren't the quiet supporters sitting on the side, because watched throughout, you saw hints what Harry was seeing. See, yeah. And that one particular tweet, yes, where Archie was, it wasn't a joke, even though the poster did say that. Danny Baker, you son of a bitch. It wasn't a joke. It never will be seen as a joke. And the BBC hired that mother trucker back to work. So don't tell me that country, that institution, that family, that firm is not racist, because you did nothing to stop the craziness. So my whole thought process is that media has some serious, serious dirt on both Chucky and Space. and they're doing whatever they can to protect them. Hearing how the communications offices would, okay, well, we can use this instead of using that against this person. Insanity. But you all just landed on that, Meghan is just thrown under the bus. There was no dirt on her prior to marrying Harry, but you created it while she was. Okay. Let me pull myself back. Okay, Mama Doria, tears related to talking about Meghan and the suicidal ideations that she was having. Yeah, Mama Doria is very dignified because I'm sure she seems like the sweetest person. And anybody else, I know if it was my mother there, she'd have tore that place up. But again, just saying that, to see that is amazing to me. So I did make a note here, many notes, but there were 3 staff parties. There was supposed to be one, but within that one party, the 3 communication offices were all separate. So they're not working together. We saw the baby shower smear where you had that one looking into her crystal ball and coming up with the fanciful details of a shower that hadn't even occurred. Yeah, emu, we know all about. And that was a clear sign of briefing against. There's so many signs of it that it's just ridiculous. But I even believe the quote gifting of Frogmore Cottage was a setup just to be able to smear them more. That's just my feeling because of Chucky in space. Okay. South Africa tour. Now, to hear Harry say, Space and I, he used his name. I'm not saying his name. He doesn't even dignify me saying his name. But he and Space had made an agreement when they were younger that they would never do what they saw witnessed against their mother. So I won't do that to you. You won't do that to me. So this just shows that Space cannot keep any promises to his wife, to Diana's legacy, and definitely did not keep it to his brother. And being the older brother, you would think that you would look out for, and that family, yeah, firm, but family first. And you didn't have to give up family. Ooh, but that's right. You have a gag order on the media because they can't talk about your shenanigans. But baby, believe you me, one day somebody's going to be brave and take it on. And they're going to put it out there because all the media is flapping their jaws, that's for sure. If only we could talk about William. Yeah, I said his name. There you go. The ish is coming for you, buddy. The ish is coming for you because there ain't that much karma that's not going to show up. Let's see. In episode 5, Lettergate comes up. And the explanation of how the letter came to be, how she got it to her father, sending it to her business manager. But yet it still gets leaked to the press. 5 days, I think it was. Just like when they put in writing their idea of what they wanted, their plan, and 5 days later it was leaked. CH and KP need to work on those leaks, not just in their plumbing, but with their principles. They need to work on the leaks coming from within. And we know that they're coming from within, so we don't even have to. But it was lovely to see the pictures. Let me just take this down for a second. Let me find it. Hello to everybody that has joined thus far. Hello. Thank you for joining while I rant a little bit, but it's all good. So we saw pictures of, their family time, the wedding. We saw the different pictures, found out about, it was in the trailer, but just seeing the different pictures. Here are all the friends that supposedly were chased away by Meghan. Okay. And she was very accurate in saying she was being fed to the wolves. Still is, and they're not even in the UK, and it'll be 3 years soon. So factor that in. And this is just hotness. Hotness. And yeah, they're never going to tell the truth, the family, to protect them or, even to correct the craziness. But this face, when they were on that flight, Mama Doria was on the plane too, was just miraculous for me. But in episode 5, we see Christopher Boozy, and he's talking about how 114,000, they looked at 114,000 tweets that were then tracked back to, I think it was 83 accounts. I didn't even write those numbers down, but 83, of which he said he was stunned to find out that the half-sister, the older half-sister, was part of the gang. I call them a gang because, that's what they were. It was, it kind of touched me when the flight crew member came by Meghan as she was on the flight back and after leaving the Commonwealth service. So she was by herself. Harry had stayed in the UK. And you guys are suckers for not having her there for some important talks, but then you leak it to the media. Well, you're SOBs, you're son of a bitches. You know what I mean? So, but the flight crew member said, thank you for all that you've done for the country. Like, that took her out, that made her take a step back because, yeah, who would have ever thought? Who would have ever thought? So, let me see. Harry and Meghan, Tina and Michelle have said this over and over. They were running for their lives. I didn't see it as that, but it became very clear in watching these episodes. Yeah, it truly was. They were running for their lives. Now, let me just say, when Queen Bey texts you, woo, where is that picture? I thought I brought it in. I think I did. Yeah. This was my reaction too. Harry had this reaction like, hands up. Yeah, that was mine. When she said, Beyonce texted me. I was like, what? And then the message that Beyonce gave to her, and yes, there's a purpose for her in her life, and it's very sweet. You'll have to watch to hear what Beyonce said to Meghan. What else was going on? Oh, that joint statement. Thank you, Harry. You just ripped off those wigs, and I use wigs because in the British like legal world, they wear wigs to court and all that stuff. So since a lot of the Lettergate had to do with the legal battle, now we know the scenes that we were seeing in earlier trailer of her in the striped sweater was her finding out the news that she won the appeal, and the relief, and those are tears of joy. And then to hear her calling, I call them family. It's the friends that she was sharing the good news with. Yeah. Harry, as he was looking at the footage of the black taxis lining along up to Buckingham Palace after his grandfather, and then them talking about the flight and having booked his flight, and we now know the scene where I loved them. Archie, Meghan, of course, heavily pregnant, standing out on the front step, and Harry put it right on out there that the tabloids caused that miscarriage. And I remember when Tina said that, and it was a lot of pushback at Tina for saying that. And who was right? Okay, the OG was right. Now, Tyler Perry. You will always be a loved member of Sussex Squad. Whether you ever acknowledge our existence or not, you are a loved member of Sussex Squad. Him being the godfather of Lilibet, so apropos, but what he said, when I hung up with them, and then I called him right back and was like, wait a minute. Does that mean we have to go over there, do the whole church thing with them? Because if that's the case, I want no parts. Kudos. Kudos to Tyler Perry. Because, yeah, I get it. Who wants to go over there dealing with that bull? Okay. Mm-hmm. Oh, and did you notice that Harry's driving in the US? I just needed to throw that out there for the haters. They are not going back as permanent residents of that country. I just have to say that. And I'll probably have to say that each and every time that I go live, but I just have to say that. Now, what was the sweetest thing and touched me is seeing that Ashley, her niece, is back in her life. You know, it's amazing when you break free from those that control every aspect of your life and that you're able to, thankfully. Ashley also wanted that connection. And so they have that. And as she said, you know, I missed a large part of Archie's life, but then again, I'm here for a lot more of it. So I'm paraphrasing. But they cooked. I think they were doing cookies for Christmas. It's awesome to see the tidbits that they shared and letting us know they're okay. But yeah, I was happy to see that. And let me just give this little tidbit to the half sister. I doubt she'll ever hear this, but maybe some of the haters can pass it along because y'all run in the same circles, obviously. She effed up. SM, the half sister, effed up big time. She chose the wrong side. Money ain't everything. And knowing you would have had not only the relationship with your daughter and any children that she has, but then with your half sister and her husband and their children. But you effed up big time, you money grubbing bitch. There you go. Okay. Oh, I'll say, Eugenie, you get a pass. You get a tiny little pass. A tiny little pass. Because there is a closeness that you have with Harry, and you're locked in as much as he was at one point. But it's nice to know that you can escape from Crazy Island when you need to or want to. So yeah, it was nice. Although we saw pictures, it was still nice to see the excitement and them hanging out together, going to the Super Bowl. My takeaway: love wins. Love wins. So yeah, I know I've mixed trash time in, laced it in here and there, but I do want to share a couple of little tidbits. So for those who may not have ever seen the tweet that, if you were watching, you would have seen it, but yeah, we all kept this one. This is the visual. So if you have not seen it and you haven't watched and you don't plan to watch, but it just says Royal Baby leaves hospital, and that idiot, that racist got rehired. It's just disgusting. But the karma that's going to come for him too. Yeah. Let's see. So this is a narrative they were putting out about the wedding. Oh, you know, they danced to Whitney Houston's I Want to Dance with Somebody. And I know that's Meghan's favorite, but yeah, that didn't happen. And Mr. DJ did his thing. He even said Meghan gave him a playlist. There were certain songs she wanted, and that was a good jump off point for their first dance at that. A Land of Thousand Dances. Yeah, that was a pretty good jump off for that. So let's see what we have for trash time. I'm just go with me, everybody. Trash time, trash time. All right. So BP allegedly is not going to respond, but there's leaks coming out from CH or KP, so Buckingham doesn't have to respond. Okay, so this was a quote from Harry that about the Sandringham summit, that it was terrifying to have my brother scream and shout at me, and my father say things that just simply weren't true. My grandmother quietly sit there and sort of take it all in. She wasn't in control of anything. Those two monsters were and are in control. And then to have the nerve that as he's in the car driving off to release a statement, a quote joint statement, when news is coming out that this is one of the tabloid headlines, showdown. And it was right. See, they can create the lies if they also put out the truth. But yeah, that statement, Harry didn't have anything to do with it. And squad, we were like, why would he have You better leave Harry alone, for he really spills the beans on all of you, especially you, Space. You seem to have more to want to hide or keep this image up. It's okay. Live your true, authentic self. That's my advice to you. Okay. We have where, they're saying a lot of the Rhoda is saying how they weren't being briefed, but you were, because you were running around saying that you have been. We have it on tweets. We have it in articles. We have it in video. And actually one, Woody Woot, you all know who I'm speaking about. I won't put his name. Woody Woot's on video, and one day I'll play it, maybe on Saturday, with him saying specifically that the family is briefing against Harry and Meghan. So here's a statement with regard to Knopf, who is the one who claimed that it was like he had to give the evidence to the Mail on Sunday. No, you didn't. And I love that they had her attorney, and they interviewed the attorney on that. There's receipts. There's many more receipts. And I hope the family realizes that, Space. You better leave your brother and family alone. Better leave them alone. So Forbes comes out. Of course, they said, Netflix, Harry and Meghan is going disastrously for Harry and Meghan. Really? First of all, spell her name right. That is an annoying, and that is a point of just being disrespectful, because you know by now how to spell her name. But here's Woody Woot talking about, Palace communications staff speaking with journalists who have true stories about family members of the royal family is not planning articles or launching a smear campaign. Meghan and Harry's palace own communication team also spoke to journalists to provide guidance. It's their job. So you were briefed, although y'all all are now claiming that you weren't briefed. Now, not all the stories were true. You created a lot of that bull crap. So let's get real. And yeah. Forbes had to, come back and eat crow. And look at that. They spelled her name right. Harry and Meghan was Netflix's largest documentary premiere ever. Yes, they have the highest ratings. And I want to say even in the UK, that claim they were, not going to watch. Whew. And then this is just a quote that, you're making people want to kill me. That's the scariest point right there. They truly did want another die moment, my opinion. And it's not even alleged. They really did. When there are people that have been jailed for the death threats and truly trying to get at her, and then to see the video clips that they shared of Paps coming onto, especially when they were in Canada, coming onto the property, and then to hear what the lengths they were going to cutting through, the fences that Tyler Perry installed to protect them when they first moved to California. Yeah, they were trying their best to set that up. And it's absolutely disgusting to me. So I'm going to stop there. But this is how one day let it just burn that institution down over there. Because if they're not improving lives and it's just puff puff, smile, wave, cut a ribbon, and mean nothing, absolutely nothing, get in your car and laugh because, those idiots, that's probably what they think. Those idiots. This is just my opinion. Mm-hmm. Should I put my copyright disclaimer? Mm-hmm. Anyway. Let me go into comments. And just for the heck of it, this is all under Section 107 of the Copyright Act because I have given plenty of criticism and comment. Teachable moments. Okay. Going on back. Let me jump in. Let me see. Where did I leave off? I wrote myself a little. 10:51. It is now 12:17. Okay. I'm going to try to get into the comments. See any comments. Let's see. Anna, the wolves were ready to feast on the dove. I will always love Harry and Meghan. Yes. Tear, Meghan was so calm on her wedding day. Croissant, OJ, and going to the... I know. I was somewhat calm on mine, although I almost ran into my husband. Of course, the whole, oh my gosh, you can't see each other before the wedding. But anyway, hey, Scratch and Pete, how are you? I see Church Nelly screaming your name in the comment there. Annie, Harry was ready to relinquish his title. Yes, thank you. Because that was one of those things I had put titles somewhere. So in the statement that they had, that they were ready to give up the Sussex titles. Everybody always talking about strip them. You wouldn't hurt their feelings because they were like, take the shit. We don't want it. EN, I'll just call you EN. I don't want to butcher your name. Let's see. The last 3 episodes really dug at your heartstrings, but thanks be to God and the Duke and Duchess of Sussex are in the light from that tunnel they came through. Yes, very much so. Elaine, our UK, our resident UKer. Yes, thanks to Tina and Michelle. Let me see. Tier Annie B, it's in writing, so they can't say he's lying. Well, they would say he's lying, but we know better than that. Let's see. This is happening on all pro Harry and Meghan channel error messages. It's happening on Duchess of Sussex too. What error message? What am I missing? Did something happen that I didn't see? Did the stream stop or something for a moment? All right, let me see. Yes, they are the GOATs. They are the greatest of all time. Joan, Tina, and Michelle pulled no punches and didn't care if anyone liked it or not. Exactly. But like Meghan was being dragged, sadly, Tina got the brunt because Tina was more out there in front than Michelle and was more involved in the social media. So, yeah. I didn't see all that she got because there were certain social media accounts that she just was like, I'll just keep them because I don't want to even let you all see the crazy and disgusting stuff that is said to me. So, yeah. When you remember, I was helping on the back end of the channel. So, in addition to being a moderator. Do you guys have sound now? Have I been talking and doing all this and you don't hear me? Because that would be funny, but that would be typical. Okay. Did it just go out momentarily? Because I'm just talking away and don't. Okay, thank you, thank you. I was like, I'm seeing old comments, so I don't know how long it was out, but if that's what's happening on all of the positive channels, that's kind of interesting, I must say. I must say. Mm-hmm. All right. Hopefully, you didn't miss too much. It's no telling what I was going on and on about, but oh, this is one of those highlights that got me too. Is the firm attorneys BSing Meghan? Oh yes, something has to be done about this, and then not doing a damn thing. So their intention was that she would never sue, and it's truly why the Mail on Sunday printed that redacted letter to make her look bad. And now they all have shit on their faces behind that lawsuit. So not one layer of the firm was truly looking out for them. Harry born into it, and his protection should have always been there no matter what. Let's find something else for the media to talk about. Give them something else to talk about. Space had a gag order in place, so they're not going to talk about him. As Meghan said, here's real estate on their front pages that they have to fill with something. There's a link with her name and Harry's. What about the others? Whew. Okay, so I don't know where others line up with regard to Harry and Meghan. I know that I'm firmly have been and will always be in their corner. And I'm glad that Squad was not the quiet supporters. So, you can have those supporters that are quiet and are out there supporting you. But with Squad, we were very vocal and we pushed back, and the media couldn't stand that from the beginning. We were calling them on their bullshit. We were giving them back their own receipts. Like, you said this, so now you're saying this. Which one is true? Even the one that cried her lashes off here, whatever. The one that I see, there's a couple of other people trying this too. Oh, I'm getting death threats. And so we were like, oh, do you want us to turn it over to the Met Police? Because that's what we did before. There was people that said, hey, you all should check this out because we're being, Squad, whoever that large group that you can't just pinpoint to one person is claimed to have given death threats. And then I find out that Rhoda sent her own self that email. Now, let me see if I still have that picture. I might have that under. I'll save that tidbit for Saturday because it'll be too much for me to go through and try to look for. But yeah. And a Harry can't drive 55, eat your heart out institution. Woo. And I do love the car, I must say. Bond, James Bond. That's what I thought of when I saw the car. Okay. Tia Tyler's comment on Lily's christening him. Oh yeah, he was like, I'm not doing that. I'm honored to be asked to be her godfather, but I'm not doing that. Loved it all. Even the friends explaining that people and knowing the few friends that were involved with that. Yes, they know people in places too and can call on friends that are editors and say, hey, this is what we want. We want to stay, anonymous because we know that have to protect Meghan as much as possible. And they did their best, but yeah. Annie, I won't go back to the way it used to be. They're not going back. They'll visit. Now, as far as this coronation, Lily's first birthday was because of the Jubilee. They celebrated it over overseas. And now here we come up to Archie's birthday. It's going to probably be celebrated in the UK because both are the same day, you know. But yet, if they have an event, Harry and Meghan, and falls on the same day that one of them others have an event, that, you know, all hell breaks loose. Come on. Whew. Space is a piece of work, Ian. Space is a piece of work. He's a hateful, pathetic, sad man. And someone said it brilliantly on Twitter. Each time you rage or something to that effect, you lose a strand of hair. He'll be bald before he's even his father's age. Let me see. Cookies and Cream, my manager. I wish they had spoke about the bots, trolls, and the royal reporters that engages with the hate accounts. Well, they did. Not naming names, but they know who was doing what, when, and where. They did reference it, so. Oh, believe you me, Harry knows. Harry knows. And I know AL, who we know her name. She shall not be named in the chat, but AL is known for retweeting. So have a few others who like and have you know, maybe on occasion retweeted or responded to thank some of the crazies for any comment that they put under their tweets. Engagement, right? Engagement. Cookies and Cream. Since the Unroyals have been called out for leaking, planning stories, and throwing the Sussexes to the wolves, the Unroyals are going to be very careful how they respond to anything. So there was a day, and I'll say one day, let me see, I think I have it in here, that there was a paper printed and not one inkling of Harry and Meghan. And I believe it was after the trailer dropped. So yeah, one day. I haven't seen anything else that anyone shared, but someone did take a screenshot and they were like, notice who's absent from the headlines. Like, wow, they were fearful. And rightly so. They should be and have been fearful, because their issues now called out and there's no getting around it. Now they still have Winter is Coming. Spare comes out January 10th. Oh yeah, winter is coming. Because what he probably didn't share or we didn't see in this docuseries. Mm-hmm. Now, the docuseries gave a lot of history on royal family and the disgusting reality of things going way back generational. But don't tell me that 70 years and it was pretty much status quo up until society was like, no, it can't be status quo. I'm just waiting to see how many more step away from a royal family being the head of their nation or the figurehead or whatever it is. Follow Barbados lead, please. Okay. Please. All right. Let me just scan comments, make sure I haven't missed anything. Church Nelly. Hey, Marsha. Church Nelly, my, in a sense, right arm. Well, let me know if I missed any other donation because I do have to skedaddle, but let me see. Cookies and Cream, the Unroyals probably slammed their heads into the wall when they found out that Tyler Perry is Lily's godfather. It's probably was a shock to their system. They need some shocks. They need a few more other things. Mm-hmm. And a space cadet will end up with just one hair. Not even that because of the pegging. Okay. And on that note, yes, it's time for me to move off of that. I love him too. Yeah. Good heart, good heart. And even he said how when his success started happening, how family members changed. So he wasn't too surprised by seeing how the father, or as some call him, sperm donor, and the half siblings, older half siblings reacted. But, you know, craziness. All right. And I really hope so. It's going to be great when they do. Woo. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Hello, everyone. Hello, Classy. How are you? How are you? How are you? Let me see if anything else. Gwendolyn, Tina, and Michelle was on it from the beginning. Yes, they were. Yes, they were, and I do miss their voices. Hopefully, we'll hear them soon. Hint, 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 hint. I mean, 2022 is almost over, and I'm gonna have to pull them out the hat again, I think. See if I can make that happen. Let me see. Marshall, the mainstream media hates social media because they can no longer control the narrative. Social media always will have receipts because the internet never forgets. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. We would have been made out to be liars, which, they do try to put that whole thing that we are this and we do that. While there might be those outlayers in squads, so to speak, I don't really see them going out and attacking. And there's some that just cannot help themselves. They have to respond to every little thing that is said. God bless them in a sense. But there's times when you don't need to engage with the rota and you don't need to engage with the haters. Just block. Block has become my favorite friend and activity on Twitter in a sense. Oh, let me see what you're saying. Oh, that's your response? Block. Well, I would want to start typing some, but why? Why respond? Why respond? Let's see, Cookies. I have much respect for Tyler Perry. He's a dynamic, loyal, and compassionate human being. Very much so. He went above and beyond. Thankfully, Meghan reached out to him also. Now, he had kept in contact and, basically just saying, hey, just praying for you both. If you need anything, let me know and blah, blah. But when you do that reach out, you're taking that bigger chance that the person said the words, but did they really mean it? He really meant it. And then, as she said, we had 13 suitcases. Now, the nanny, the real nanny, loved her personality. I'm so glad that she was introduced to us officially because we saw pap pictures of her with Archie getting on and off the plane when they were on the tour. And yeah, it was, I loved how she was like, she gets a call and was like, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex want to speak with you regarding, you coming and helping to take care of Archie. And she was like, hold on, wait a minute. Let me sit down. That was the cutest moment. And then she's like, she goes, I think I got a speeding ticket. She goes, no, I did get a speeding ticket when she was driving to them in order to have this meeting. And then gets there and she's like, in here, tall, redhead, or ginger, as they say. And he's barefoot, like the formality, whoop, right on, gone. Here she's like, I bought new shoes. She's like dressed because you're expecting I'm meeting royalty. I'm going to have to be this part. And then to feel the sense of just calmness, and he's barefoot. That was the best. And then to see how she was like, do you mind if I do this with Archie? And it was the sling or the baby, what do you call it? Because I didn't have children, but just how the traditional baby wrap, awesome. That was awesome. And seeing his cute little face. Yeah, that was one of those things. Where's that? Classy, you're right. Tyler Perry did what Harry's father should have done. Sperm donation it is, yeah. Because should never have, you pulled his security, and then released. I'm glad we saw the clips of the Paps invading their space in order to get a picture, or worse, because how do you know who those people are? Anybody can put a camera in their hand and act as if they are coming to take a picture. And yeah, okay. Let me move on from that. Let me see. Dolores, that nanny is the one that was in South Africa. She saved Archie. Yes. Just from her instinct on, let me take him with me, even though I'm just fixing something to eat, but let me take him with him. Saved his life. And I won't even go into any more of my speculations on that part. They deserve that terror. That's all I'm going to say, Gwendolyn. They deserve that terror. Thank you. Mudcloth is the baby rat. Thank you, Mashar. I couldn't think of the name. I was trying to remember what she had called it. Meghan had said, so yes. And again, the diva moniker that the haters and I guess family is trying to put on her, not the case whatsoever. So thank goodness for the friends that are family that truly respected, protected, and again, respected their relationship. Did everything they could to protect them. So, let's see. Ian, we are hearing, and you are spot on with your. Oh, thank you. Okay. All right. So, I could go on and on, you know that, when it comes down to this subject, but I didn't even expect to be on this long. I do apologize for any of the audio issues. Truly was beyond my knowledge that was happening. I'm kind of glad because I probably would have lost it a little bit, but I do hope that you get a chance. I know all of you in here probably have watched it. Maybe those in the clouds or space station, if you get a chance, you'll watch it just to get a sense of who they are as people. Even though you may not follow them as closely as, say, I or those in the squad that are in the chat do, but you'll get a sense of and maybe understand why. Maybe you'll get an understanding of why. Let's see. Gwendolyn, the mushmouth ass needs to keep his lying mouth shut. Cookies and Paps came onto Tyler's property. It's ridiculous what they put the Sussex through. True. And that Tyler did what he needed to do to protect them. Now, it broke my heart that on their first night in their new home, yes, because of the stress, she did miscarry baby number 2. But when your family, Abigail, knows you well, and when she greeted Meghan Meghan came to the door and greeted her, and she knew immediately, yeah, something was wrong. That's what family isn't out there talking about you in the paper for money. Okay. Now, I hope that he gives them a run for their ever-loving money. Yes. Mm-hmm. They're going to have to do a whole lot of paying out to keep them, the shenanigans of those 3, including that next heir, out of the papers. But you better not use Harry and Meghan's children as the shields or scapegoats. Whew. Okay, Cinderella, I'm surprised they didn't bring up the fire in Archie's room or the night nanny that was abruptly fired. There's I think there was a legal agreement put in place to shut her down, as well as they don't want to. That could be a back pocket, you don't reveal all your cards all at once. We heard about the fire on the podcast, so I understand why it may not have made it into the docuseries. Yeah. But that night nanny, karma's going to get that person in ways that they so deserve. Okay. Now, yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. Okay. So I'll just end on a more positive note. You know what Michelle would always say, or she would quote, no bad energy. Let us let go of the energy. And it was nice to see them doing their self-guided meditation. release, and realize that love wins. When we see them, love is winning and has won. Okay, so on that note, love you all for joining. Thank you to the channel members that are here, even those listening in because you're working. I love you. I appreciate all of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Take care. Wear your mask.